I bid you all good morning, good evening, and good night to wherever you're watching this transmission. It is I, Mike Martins. Thank you for returning to the channel and checking out another video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Guys, don't forget to check out our latest Mike in the Night here. Unfortunately, this is the only platform we could go and speak. Episode 449 with the Alaska Prepper on Mike in the Night with call-ins. Really, really good call-ins. You're going to want to hear that show. Anyways, so what are we reporting today? Well, there's a lot being reported today, and here goes. It's these horrific wait times in hospital rooms and hospital wait ER times, and ambulances not showing up, people dying in waiting rooms, and this is something that is happening as our healthcare infrastructure starts to crumble. So what did we talk about before on the channel? Well, let's see what we talked about before. Here it is. Hospital discharges man into homeless shelter. And hospital bankruptcies leave sick and injured nowhere to go. So there it is right there. And we already started to see early signs of, the healthcare sector crumbling, especially if you're living in Canada, Australia and New Zealand, and the UK, where you have socialized medicine. And socialized medicine right now is now starting to crack and crumble into dust. Another ER death under investigation in New Brunswick called a tragic event. So we're getting a lot of these start to surface and making headlines now. Vatalati Health Network says a patient died in an emergency room of the Undermiston Regional Hospital on the 24th of July following a tragic event. So basically, the CEO says the person who had been admitted to the emergency department lost their life under unforeseeable and exceptional circumstances. The health authority provided little detail about what transpired on Sunday, but said no healthcare workers or staff were injured. Interesting. Let's move on. Man who died after being turned away at Brandon Hospital was desperate for help with addiction, says mother. So there it is. A man who went to southwestern Manitoba Hospital seeking treatment for alcohol addiction died the next day without being assessed by a doctor. A case, his mother says, raises questions about how patients with addictions are treated. And that's something we talked about on the channel many times. So let's move on. There's a lot to cover. What's happening with ERs across Canada, dispatches on wait times, and crowding and closures. So I'm not going to pay $3 to read this. At the time when healthcare in Canada was more fragile than ever, a Globe spoke find Canadians from across the country about their most recent trip to the emergency room. When should you go to the emergency room? Here's what to know among long wait times and closures. So closures. So we've been talking about hospital closures for a long time now. It's something that's been happening quite a bit. Healthcare staffing crisis. They're calling it a staffing crisis now. And other wave of are pushing, you know how we feel about that, are pushing emergency departments across Canada to the brink. So they're going to find ways to debunk or to kind of offset their mistakes or the mistakes they've made, or basically the underlying true issues of what's really happening. They're always going to blame it on something. Hey, why don't you blame the wait times at hospitals on inflation? They're blaming everything on inflation now, and then they're turning to Russia and turning to this. Why don't they just start blaming hospital wait times on inflation? It'll make perfect sense, because it's wait times hitting new high levels at several hospitals recently being forced to temporarily close their ERs. So, hospital in my town is, I don't know, it's not a hospital. We're not allowed to call it an H anymore. I pay $4,300 in property tax plus $1,200 to garbage pickup per year and water separate for a town with 2 stoplights and a non-really functioning hospital. And the police are kind of, I'm not sure if they close at 3 or 4 in the evening. So that's the with 2 stoplights. So that's the infrastructure we have in this town. And that's what I'm paying for property tax. The Canadian Press spoke with the emergency physicians across the country who discuss what patients should consider before seeking emergency care, and why, for some patients, the emergency room is still one of the only options available. Wow. Despite pressures facing hospitals, its criticals, no one feels dissuaded from visiting the emergency department. And I put up a post for you guys about the emergency rooms in your area and how do you feel about them and stuff. We actually put a post up on our let's go to our community section here and let's see what we said. Let's see. Oh, here's another one. Here's another one. BC woman died on stretcher after in waiting room for 2 days. So where is it here? Let's see if we could find that. Let's see if we could find that hospital one. Planet. No. Let's see if we could find it because it's actually worth the look. Do you trust your local government? 94% say no and 6% say yes. What else did we do? Where is it? Oh, come on. Here we go. Healthcare, clinics, hospitals in my area are 35% say everywhere and easy to access, 35%. Far away from me but easy to access, 2%. Nowhere and need to wait months to see a doctor, 7%. Non-existent, 3%. And 53% of the people that voted said, I do not trust my healthcare system in my area. So there it is right there. There it is right there. New data shows Ajax Hospital has some of Ontario's longest ER waiting times. So if you know anyone that's been to the ER recently, comment below in the comments. I'd like to know and like to read and see what's going on. New data from the province shows Lakeridge Health Ajax has some of the longest emergency department wait times in Ontario. Let's see if they go into telling us. Okay. Patients who were not admitted to hospital at 5.2 hours and 8 the longest wait time for the province. High urgency patients who were not admitted in the hospital in 6.3 hours. Read it and weep. This is the fake news that's actually reporting this. Lakeridge Health Ajax was also the 6th largest wait in Ontario for patients who were admitted into hospital from the ER with the average of 37.6 hours. And here's a breakdown of ER times at 5 hospitals from Durham in 2022. So there's your hours in wait time, 5.2. We have some 6 hours here, 6.3, 6.1 hours, depending where you are. This is in other parts of Lakeridge, different city. Wow, 31 hours, 11 hours, 37 hours. Holy smokes! So what do we do? Is it inflation that's doing this? Because they're not going to obviously tell us the truth of what's underlying really happening here. They're not going to tell us all these wait times and what's happening and people dying in ER rooms. I mean, at least if they throw inflation out there as the cause, it might provoke more stimulus, not stimulus, but more discussion pieces. Or they can't use Trump's a racist anymore for long ER times. I mean, I'm just trying to think what the media needs to kind of, or maybe they just come out and tell the truth. How's about that? Come out and tell us the truth on what's really happening. We really need help. Majority of Albertans think emergency wait times are too long. That's true north right there. And Public Affairs found 84% of Albertans said wait times were too long. Of those, 54% described the amount of time it takes to be seen by an emergency physician very long. You could probably, from where they are, you could drive somewhere in the States and see a private health sector and actually pay to see a doctor. Just ask for a repeal on all the property tax and all the damn taxes you've paid in Canada so you could go pay to see a doctor in the States. Because that's where it's going to come to. Watch. This family doctor is leaving BC. Other physicians are among her orphaned patients. So more and more, a brain drain. We talked about the Canadian brain drain. Let's go back to the channel and search brain drain. Brain drain is a big problem. We've been talking about it for the last 10 years. Mass exodus. Canadian brain drain is real. Mass exodus. Here, let's put this here. Young families seek affordability in the United States. That's over 5 years ago. Mass exodus. Young families leaving. Brain drain. 5 years ago. Vancouver, Sydney, Australia, brain drain 5 years ago. So we've been talking about people of middle class, mass exodus from all major cities of London, England, 4 years ago. Canada's finished. So it's like millennials taking on too much debt. Yeah, so there it is right there. Okay, let's keep going. So originally from Poland, the 47-year-old first immigrated to Canada as an international medical graduate in 2001. She did a residency in Calgary before crossing the Rockies in 2006, where she relocated to the small city of Port Moody. So basically, it's getting difficult, it's getting too expensive, and the cost of operating is it's just killer. All right, what's going on here? Record numbers. So where is this? Where is this? This is in England. Record numbers waiting 12 hours before Royal Cornwall Hospital admission. A Cornwall. Look at that, in Cornwall. What? A record number of patients have had to wait in the emergency department or in ambulances outside Cornwall's main hospital before being seen. The new NHS figures have revealed, according to a new report by NHS England, 607 people waited more than 12 hours at an emergency department in Royal Cornwall Hospital. So there it is right there. What else we got here? New Zealand. We're failing now. Emergency department wait times, the longest in decades. Nationals. So when are they going to come out and actually tell us what's really happening and really tell us the truth? I mean, you could only say Donald Trump's a racist so many times until it falls apart. Like, until it just, and you could only say it's inflation or Russia for so long. You know what I'm saying? Or blame the you-know-what. I can't say on here. There's only so much you could throw out there until it starts to be like, this doesn't even make any sense anymore. So this is in New Zealand. Emergency department wait times are now the longest in decades, as more than 1 in 5 people experience a treatment delay of at least 6 hours, the National Party claims. Well, what about all those council fees you're paying? Council fees! Those on the front line also admit triage times and standards of care are slipping. So there it is. The latest data sourced by Herfield for May 2022 shows the average wait time nationally was 287 minutes with a little under 5 hours. Wow. So there it is right there. And healthcare workers paint a dire picture of Australia's hospital system as more than 8,500 staff isolate. So are they isolating? Is the juice, the new juice, starting to isolate more people? Huh? What's going on? We can't really talk about it. That's why you got to go on Odyssey to talk. Health workers paint a dire picture of Australia's hospital system. More than 8,500 isolate. So there it is. I'm not even going to say what it is. You know what it is. There it is right there. Can't talk about it on here because it's the truth. And again, where is this? In New Zealand. Health system under extreme stress, says Todd Muller. 1 in 5 people are waiting more than 6 hours to be seen in Turnaga, and I can't pronounce that, hospital emergency departments. And it's happening all over the Commonwealth. Guys, don't forget to check out our latest episode of Mike in the Night with Alaska Prepper here. Very good call-ins. Really good stuff we have on here. Unfortunately, we cannot speak on this or the main platform, so getting people out. What is happening in your neck of the woods? How is this affecting you and your family? And we do have, I did several videos of hospital closures, ER rooms closures, all this stuff back in 2019, way before this, what happened. So the socialized medicine or whatnot, or whatever you want to call it, has already been under attack for many years. The Canadian healthcare system has been bought out, I think it was 4 years ago or 6 years ago, by this big conglomerate corporation out of Europe. I don't know if you guys know that, but you can look into that. It's getting pretty bad pretty fast. We don't know where our tax dollars are going. It's definitely not being put into healthcare. It's not being put into fixing the roads. It's not being put into the avenues it should be put in. And this is the problem we're facing here. Let me know where you are, how your healthcare sector is treating you, and comment below. Do you trust your healthcare sector? Anyways, guys, Mike Martins here, signing off. Hope this information could help you guys. Don't forget to share it, like, and prescribe. Prescribe. Mike Martins here. I have spoken.